And as usual, we're starting the news. We'll start from the Upper West region. And water shortage has hit the capital, while residents have had to form long and ending queues at commercially mechanized boreholes for potable water access. The shortage is a result of a fault developed by the water production plant at Jambusu due to the overflow of water from the Black Volta, which serves as their main water source. Rafiq Salam decided to just comb around the municipality to get the latest for us.
For the past 7 days, residents of one municipality have been without potable water. As a result of that, most pipes in the municipality are under lock and key. The acute shortage of the commodity is blamed on the overflow of water from the Black Volta into the water production plant at Jambusu due to torrential rains in the area. For the first time in several years, residents who depend on water from the Ghana Water Company Limited have to queue for several hours to get the commodity into their homes. Many residents, especially those at the heart of the municipality, depend on water from commercial mechanized boreholes. Others who have no money bank their hopes and luck on the intermittent rains experienced by the municipality in the past couple of days. The situation is having a toll on productivity as workers and students are forced to queue for hours just to get access to water. One of the persons who is inconvenienced as a result of the acute shortage is Nafisa Pelpo, who is a student and is in her 20s.
I've been here since morning to get water for my kids and then my other siblings. But as a result of this brokerage at the Jambusu project, I've not been able to get water since morning. But as you can see, it's now that I had a chance to come and fetch water for my people. An appeal to the Ghana Water Company and the opinion leaders in our communities. They should get up and seek for help for us. We are really suffering.
For residents of Zongo, their worry is not only about the closure of the pipes, but the bills they continue to receive from the Ghana Water Company Limited.
We don't have water and you are still bringing us bills. They brought one few days ago and charged us 400 Ghana cedis and another today, which is 300. You have closed our pipes and yet you are still bringing bills. I am appealing to the GWCL. They should always inform us through the local radio stations about the failure to open the pipe. When they do that, it will help us to prepare better.
Meanwhile, the Upper West manager of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Clement Kuka Yang, who spoke to me off camera, says they are working around the clock to ensure that the faults at the water production site at Jambusu are repaired within the next couple of days. He said a team of engineers from Accra are already at Jambusu working to correct the fault. He, however, revealed as a short-term measure, they have activated the underground borehole systems in the municipality to enable them pump water to their clients. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam.
Now, Africa is being urged to rethink its approach to resolving violent extremism, which has claimed so many lives on the continent. Now, more than 27,000 people have been killed since the Boko Haram insurgency in 2009, while about 2.3 million others are said to have been displaced by the group's activities in northeast Nigeria, northern Cameroon, Niger, Chad, and Mali. Now, many more lives have been lost to the activities of violent extremist groups like Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda in Africa. At the maiden edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum, which was to discuss peace operations in the context of violent extremism in Africa, speakers, including Ghana's President Akufo-Addo, have been advocating a shift in how the problem is dealt with. Now, they propose an approach that deals with the root cause instead of militarized interventions that usually come after the violence. Bernice Abubedu Lansa has more in this report.
Violent extremism is a term used to refer to the beliefs and actions of people who support or use ideologically motivated violence to promote radical ideological, religious, or political aims. Over the years, different approaches, including military interventions, have been used in attempts to deal with the problem perpetrated by groups like Boko Haram and Al-Shabaab in Africa. However, speakers at the maiden event of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum agree that more preventive approaches that deal with root causes must be used. For President Akufo-Addo, porous borders and poverty fuel the problem.
Because surrogates of Al-Qaeda in the Sahel and Boko Haram militants operating around the Lake Chad Basin, the two most active terrorist groups in West Africa, are known to exploit the unacceptable levels of poverty in these areas in the recruitment and indoctrination of youth. The growing number of breakaway terror groups, in addition to our natural vulnerabilities, notably the spread of ethno-linguist groups and the porous nature of our borders, call for regional and continental approaches to contain the growing threats of terrorist and extremist activity.
Head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Ibn Chambers, says militarized interventions alone do not create lasting solutions.
The deployment of peace operations to prevent and counter violent extremism must be accompanied by strategic and operational plans and programs to provide basic services, address unemployment, youth unemployment in particular, exclusion, discrimination, and poverty that are some of the main drivers of radicalization and recruitment into these groups.
For Nani Annan, wife of the late Kofi Annan, involving young women and men in processes to prevent violent extremism is the way to go.
We must fully engage young people, especially young women, in all our efforts, including policy making, to prevent radicalization. Africa is today the youngest continent in the world, and all too often young people are both the victims and perpetrators of violence driven by extremist beliefs. The crucial preventive role that youth can play tends to be overlooked, although they are well placed to spot early signs of radicalization and create safe dialogue spaces for their peers to express their frustration.
The two-day event, which began on Wednesday, was attended by former heads of state, including Ghana's John Dramani Mahama, Sierra Leone's Ernest Bai Koroma, and Nigeria's Olusegun Obasanjo. For JoyNews, I'm Bernice Abubedulansa.
Away from that conference, the General Secretary of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, is eyeing the running mate position for former President John Dramani Mahama in the 2020 elections. It follows media reports suggesting the former president, who has been campaigning in some parts of the country over the last couple of months, may be considering the NDC General Secretary as his running mate. Other reports also speculate that former Finance Minister Professor Kwesi Botwe may get the nod. But Mr. Esiedun Ketia says, although he will not lobby for the position, he will gladly accept it should he be appointed. He spoke to Gifty Ando-Apia on the polls.
If I'm deemed to be the person who should play a certain role, I will gladly accept it, because I have never accepted, I have never rejected any, duty that has been imposed on me. If it is offered, I will accept it.
Okay.
Yes. Then what will make the person who is offering it, what will make him take that decision? He will certainly say that maybe I want somebody who is A, B, C. That is why I settled on Esiedun Ketia. It is only after that I can then be questioned whether I can satisfy.
So my understanding,
what the
my
person,
understanding from what you've said is that it's a position you'd like.
Yes, if it is given to me, I will gladly
take it.
Yes. Everybody in this party knows about my capabilities, what I am and what I am not. So whom am I going to impress with new information about myself? Everything about me is open and is there for everybody to know. So I'm sure that if anybody is taking any decision about me, he has more than sufficient information to consider in making that choice.
To the Ashanti region next, where the National Disaster Management Organization wants government to allow it to access excavators seized from illegal miners in order to reclaim devastated lands in the Ashanti region. NADMO Regional Coordinator Kwabna Nsenchere says the excavators could be used to cover open pits to end the needless deaths recorded in parts of the country from Galamsey pit cave-ins. Nana Yaujima has been learning more about it. Here's his report.
Across areas with Galamsey activities in the Ashanti region, pits dug illegally were left uncovered when government banned Galamsey. It is only Amansia West district officials who are making efforts to cover them with local resources. A number of people have fallen into pits unknowingly and lost their lives. The interministerial task force established to fight the menace transport seized equipment to designated areas. Mr. Nsenchere is requesting access is granted the NADMO for work to save life and property.
And it's very tempting when the pit is there, the people also, they themselves go back to mine in the same pit. Just last year at Bosome district, a 12-year-old schoolboy was fall into one of the pits and died. So I would like to have some of the excavators, the seized one, so that we can use it in the various district assemblies, even in the Kumasi metropolis here, and then have them to dissert some of our waters and drains, and so that we may also, as a regional NADMO, we may also benefit from that Galamsey activities, and we may as well cover some of the Galamsey pits so that there will be more safety within the region.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ambrose Derry says the request will be thoroughly discussed. He says government is working towards ensuring the organization becomes more effective.
I've heard your complaints about the Galamsey pits. I will discuss with the interministerial committee, and I believe that we would see how we can allow you to use the equipment that caused the problem in the first place to solve the problem. You advise people not to stay in certain places. You advise people as far as the container is concerned, isn't it? And they refuse. And as a result, 4 people have died. Not so? I want to tell you this. Next time they refuse, let the police know. We shall arrest and take them away. We can't allow people to be dying.
Nana Yaujima reporting.
And we have to end the news, but before we go, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission is worried recent acts of indecency among females has the tendency to weaken the moral fiber of the country. Well, Al-Hajj Ahmad Suleiman Anderson Naib Amir III observes that women are going every extent to attract the attention of men. He was speaking at the 40th annual rally of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Women's Association at Asokore.
Al-Hajj Naib Amir wants Muslim women to lead by example by always wearing the veil. He says mothers have a responsibility to train their children through upright living.
They are mixing freely with men, vying with one another in attracting men. They find pleasure and pride in exposing their beauty. They are even competing with one another in displaying their beauty. They are treating their bodies as if the bodies are some kind of commodities available for display, for others to freely gaze at. They are not aware of the danger of their acts and the harm, the injury, and the damage they are causing to themselves and to the society. Such conduct, Madam Chairperson, cannot in any way help to create a morally upright society.
It can only create spiritual disease in the hearts of men and ultimately weaken the moral fiber of the society. And I recommend that one very sure way of dealing with this is, one sure way of helping to build a morally upright society is the use of your veils. The veil has been prescribed for you as a way of protecting morality and spirituality. Unfortunately,
the conference was under the theme, Creating Morally Upright Society, the Role of Muslim Women. Second Lady Samira Baumia entreated women to embrace and propagate virtue.
Says in Islam, we can contribute to curbing the social menace. Women continue to be the significant agents of change the world over. We can create a morally upright society by living morally upright lives. By living morally upright lives, the attitudes of those around us would also change. It is worthy of note that as women, especially Muslim women, we continue to play critical roles in the home, nurturing and caring for our children and husbands. And treat each other.
Legal practitioner Maria Majima Jesse advised against use of public office to amass wealth. She says such acts deprive the society of basic and infrastructural needs. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.